Shalom, family. Shalom. This shouldn't take too long, but I hope everybody is doing well. We're going to talk about some of the things that's going on in the country because it really is impacting a lot of people, especially the shortages of goods on the shelves of stores. And I'm starting to see a lot of places around the country where it's cropping up and it's bad. And to add insult to injury, they said this time around, it's going to be tougher to restock the shelves in this country. So you may be looking at shortages for months and months in 2021, from now all the way into 2021. So, boy, when you thought things were falling apart in America, it's really falling apart now. It's not getting better at all. You know, I'm not surprised about the panic shopping because, to be honest with you, when I saw how they kept talking about the COVID cases were going up in the country, I knew that alone was going to trigger the panic shopping again, and it sure did. All right, so we got 115 people in. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen because there's a video that I need to show you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, give me a 1 if you can see my screen. Please give me a 1. Thank you. Okay. All right, let's get to this.
Tonight at 10 o'clock, Bear store shelves. This isn't video from the beginning of the pandemic. Hoarding is once again happening. As the threat of another lockdown is looming, people are stocking up and storing away those essential items.
That's right. As KCAL9 Orange County reporter Stacey Butler warns tonight, it could be even worse this time around.
The panic buying is back, but this time, one industry expert told me he expects the shortages and the hoarding to be worse.
The bathroom tissue all gone.
This is not what Orange County was prepared for the week before Thanksgiving. Empty shelves at one Target where the paper towels and toilet paper were. At one Walmart, only a couple dozen packages of TP with a 1 per customer limit.
Costco doesn't have paper towels again, and I was there like a couple of days ago, and I asked the guy. They said I can check tomorrow morning, but they've been out and it goes really quickly. Hoping to buy paper goods, toilet paper, paper towels, basically just the necessities, not trying to hoard, just trying to get what we needed for the house. And that was it. Unfortunately, they're out.
In many big box stores, the cleaning products are cleaned out.
We definitely need like disinfectant wipes and all that. So, but yeah, that's not here.
The fear of another lockdown has once again fueled panic buying. But this time, Bert Flickinger with the retail consulting firm Strategic Resource Group says the shortages are about to get worse.
It's going to be a panic of unprecedented proportions. We're already seeing people fighting over limited inventory in the stores.
Flickinger says the manufacturers aren't making enough products to meet demand, leaving retailers and shoppers in a lurch.
One of the leading wholesalers in New York called Procter & Gamble, said, I need 15 trucks a week. They said, don't call us, we'll call you, and maybe you get 1 truck, possibly 2. So it's a really sickening situation.
Flickinger says the manufacturers closed down their plants in California years ago. Now, truckers have to drive hundreds, sometimes thousands of miles to deliver. At the end of the month, over 20,000 truckers are threatening to strike, a move that could bring a fragile supply chain to its knees.
It's really bad the week before Thanksgiving, but by the time we get to New Year's week and into the new year, it's going to be a product panic of unprecedented proportions.
No word yet on when that trucker strike might take place. In Irvine, Stacey Butler, KCAL9 News.
All right, y'all. Let me go ahead and And this. All right. Now, my thing is, this country, this is what upsets me more even than the talk of the truckers, you know, and I'm hearing that possibly may be canceled now anyway. But what upsets me the most, y'all, it has been 10 months of this virus raging on. You would think over the 10-month period, this country would have done a better job preparing for another wave. All right. You would think they would have been stepping up production on these products to make sure stores around the country did not run out. What is, I guess, shocking to me is nobody prepared, nothing. You know, we are going through this second wave just like we went through the first one. But it's even worse this time because you let the summer, the spring, the summer, and damn near most of the fall go by without preparing and making sure these stores were well stocked. Warehouses around this country that keep these products were well stocked. What the hell happened? Where is leadership in this country? And why are we looking at a situation worse now than the first time around? Somebody ain't doing their damn job up in here. Seriously, somebody's not doing their job. And it's the same way with the hospitals. If you go and look at hospitals, there are hospitals around America still screaming for PPE 10 months in to this pandemic, still screaming for the same thing from the beginning. So I'm going to read a little bit of what the truckers were saying. Now, they said this may actually be canceled, but the truckers were saying that they are tired of the industry over-regulating them. They are underpaid. Now, that part I do know because I was actually, I did a story back in 2019 that showed how the pay many of these truckers are getting has declined from even 2017 till now. They made more money in 2017 and 2018 than they do today. So they feel they're overregulated, underpaid, and there are other issues such as parking and e-log and detention. So the trucker strike, you know, they said is something they wanted to do as one of the last ditch efforts, but it seems like it may actually be canceled for now. But who knows if they're going to kick this thing back up when 2021 comes. So, I mean, no matter how you look at this, ladies and gentlemen, it's a mess. It's a mess. And I can't believe they are doing the exact same type of lockdown that didn't even work the first time it was done back in March. You know, it goes back to me telling you, you know, these folks may be in charge, but they're not good leaders. They're not. Look at what following their lead has gotten us. You know, look at where it got us. We're not better off. You know, you would think after 10 months, we really technically should be way better off than we were in March, but we're not. I think that's what gets me more than anything else. And you see stimulus money is not moving in this country. You got people that only got maybe a little over a month left on their unemployment. And it really is going to go in stages. You're going to have people losing their unemployment benefits right after Christmas. You're going to have another wave of people losing it in January and February and so on. And as far as Congress and the Senate, we now see they are completely unreliable. Thank you, DPB79, for the super chat. Thank you. To be honest with you, I think Trump need to just admit, and his administration need to admit they lost the election and move on. I just don't see how this is helping anything. And, you know, I've been alive and around for quite some time. I have never seen them call somebody a winner and then turn around and rescind it and give it to another guy weeks and weeks later after the election. I have never seen that happen. And it's not going to happen in this case. Trump needs to cut his losses and move on. And so do everybody in that administration. Cut your damn losses and move on already. You know, after a while, I don't even see how many of his supporters are even going to have sympathy for him. He needs to move on. You know, it just looks like it looks like a childish temper tantrum at this point. That's how it looks to me. You know, some grown ass man whining and crying because you lost an election. Just move on. You know, there are more serious matters to me in this country. We are about to go through possibly months without finding many of the supplies you're going to need. I'm not worried about Trump. Trump can deal with his own problems. You know, I mean, look, I learned a lesson from the last one. You know, you stockpile some of the things that you know you're going to need. But as for, you know, everybody is not in that position, ladies and gentlemen. I know many of us can get the things we need, but keep in mind, people don't have that extra $600 stimulus that they had in the beginning of the year. People are being evicted by the thousands across the country. And if you can't keep yourself housed, you can't stock up on anything. And you also got a situation 10 months in where people can't find jobs. I have read so many stories out here, and I'll go to the comment section and I'll see where people are talking about applying for multiple jobs, sometimes every day, and they are not getting any response to all the applications they're putting in. So the situation is even more dire now than it was in the beginning, when they were at least getting the extra $600 a week and you got the stimulus. Now people are getting nothing. It's worse. And how do you stockpile if you're only getting $100 a week from unemployment or $200 a week from unemployment? It's difficult to do that. And you got bills to pay. And you heard, you know, many of these people on unemployment are saying, you know, without the extra stimulus money, they can't even pay their rent. So keeping that in mind, I'm sorry, I can't worry about Donald Trump. Let Donald Trump go to Mar-a-Lago or New York Trump Tower, whatever. That is on him. But what about the rest of the people that are not in a position like Donald Trump? Donald Trump still got a resort to go to, a big fancy apartment in New York. He still got that to go to. There's a lot of people that are now living in cars in America because they are being evicted during this pandemic. Thank you, FAFA, for the super sticker. Yeah, I mean, Princess Lolita, there's a lot of family members that are now moving in with each other. What are you going to do? Especially if they don't have a job. They can't take care of themselves right now. You're going to see a lot of that happening. And some of these people said they have nowhere to go. They can't even go in with family members. So it really depends on your situation, with your family or friends or whoever you can lean on during this time where it's pretty hard for people. Yeah, I mean, look, and you got to also take into consideration these people that you're taking in, they're not going to be able to help you financially. That's another situation you're going to be looking at. Yeah, you can take in your brother, your sister, your cousins, or any of your parents, but just know, because there's no stimulus money and the additional unemployment benefits, that person is moving in with you and they really can't contribute that much to your household on top of that. Wow. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's a lot of people that are living in cars. That's so true, Cassie. That is very true. There are a lot, and it's tough if you got to live in your car and you live in the Northeast where it gets very cold in the winter. It's hard to be in some damn car. It's hard. And on top of that, now you're dealing with being outside, living in a car, and also dealing with the outside dangers of being out there. People can easily break your window and get into your car. So America's in a bad situation. I don't know. Maybe I'm delusional. I just didn't think 10 months in we would be this bad off. We would be worse off now than we were in the beginning. So that just it just go to show you many of these businesses did not prepare. They didn't prepare at all. So survival is in our hands, ladies and gentlemen. That's where survival is. It's in our hands. This government is absolutely useless. Yeah, I've seen the people living in cars too. Thank you, Chris Shakur Yafi, for the super sticker. You know what? I've seen people living in cars too. Around me, many of them tend to live in parking lots. And, there are certain places, like if you go past there at night, you can see people are sleeping in their cars. They try to park off to where there's not a lot of people, like in the back of the parking lot, and sleep there. And I see the cars out there. And there's also cars. I've noticed more cars at night after the supermarket is closed. A lot of them tend to be around the dumpsters. And believe it or not, a lot of the food grocery stores throw away is perfectly good. It just didn't sold. They didn't sell it. And a lot of them will hang around there. And after they dump the food, they'll go in there and get the food to eat. And, because they throw the lunch meat out, they throw a lot of those salads and things they don't sell. They throw all of that out. So those folks just go in the dumpster and get it all out to survive on it. I mean, it's really sad when you see stuff like that. Thank you, Sean from The Shy. Thank you so much for the super chat. Yeah, I mean, look, Princess Lolita, I've seen people sleeping in cars and they got pets in there on top of that. I've seen that too. I mean, it's bad. And always remember, all of this is going on while your people in Congress and the Senate and your president is literally doing nothing. They're doing nothing, But like I said, they are just showing us and proving to us that these are not the right people to be leading when a crisis is going on. They're no good in a crisis. They're not. Look, they were only asking them to sit at home for a few weeks in the beginning of the year, and look at how they fell apart over that. These folks can't lead. They just can't. Leadership is not their thing. And to me, when you're selfish and self-centered, you don't need to lead. You need to just go off on your own and attend to your own business, but you don't need to lead if you got a selfish attitude. You kind of defeat the purpose to lead. No. And see, a lot of these folks that lost their jobs and everything this year, they're saying, "Oh, I can't wait for this year to end." And I'm just telling you, I believe 2021 is going to be far worse than 2020. I really do. It's going to get worse. And I don't believe this vaccine, these 2 vaccines, are going to do what they think. All right. And they're like, well, it's 90% effective, 95. Yeah, but you did that on a group of volunteers. Now you're talking about giving that to millions of people. Trust me, it's not going to be as effective as you think. It's a hell of a difference between giving a vaccine to a small group of people and giving it to an entire country of people. It's a big difference. Well, I mean, just anticipate, it's already gone through the roof, but it's going to be even worse after the Thanksgiving holiday. You still got people out here that are going to travel. People are still going to gather for that turkey, that Thanksgiving turkey. And you're also going to have a bunch of college students, which are leaving college now, and they're coming home and they're saying, many of them are potentially carrying coronavirus, and they're going to go home for the holiday. So, whenever you have a holiday, there's always a lot of people moving around in the country. That's usually the norm. And you're going to have that happen even next week. So they already said after each holiday, you're going to have a big surge in the country. So get ready. It's going to be another big surge on top of what's going on now. And I was talking to one woman around here that's a nurse. She said she is absolutely exhausted. Yeah, well, it's amazing how America is the richest nation in the world and doing the worst with COVID. But y'all remember, these were the same folks running around talking about how high their IQ is. I tell you what, the way y'all are running things, if this is an example of your high IQ, then I would prefer not to have one. That's it. I'm fine not having one if that's the case. After looking at this, who would want your high IQ? Who would want it? All right, y'all, I'm not going to keep you too much longer. I just wanted to update you on everything. And you know what? And many of you that are able to get a jump on things, this will give you a chance to do that. And hopefully you will have everything you need to get by during these next weeks that are coming up, because I really believe it's going to be treacherous. even leading into Christmas and New Year's. So everybody, thank you for coming. I do appreciate every single time we spend together. And you know what? I got to do a current event soon. So I'll probably be putting that together in the next few days because we certainly have a lot to talk about. That's for sure. And y'all, please don't forget about the blood moon, which is coming on November 30th. We still got that blood moon coming on top of everything we're dealing with. So everybody, please enjoy the rest of your day. Peace, family.